I have this one specific group of clients right now that I think have a massive advantage over anybody else in the real estate market. And if you would have asked them a couple years ago, you probably wouldn't have thought this was an advantage. So I want to talk to you specifically if this is you, and I got to tell you what it is, and tell you how you could win. And you might be holding some serious leverage when it comes to buying a new construction home right now in the market here in DFW. Those people, those are my friends and my clients that have been renting a home. You do not own a home yet. This is going to be your first purchase, or you bought a couple years ago, sold it, and then rented, moved to a new city, new state. If you're renting, this is going to be your best opportunity, I think, right now to get into a brand new construction home, assuming you have the finances set up and you're ready to go. I want to talk you through why I think that's the case. We haven't met before. My name is Zach. My team and I, we sell new construction real estate here in DFW. That's all we do. Builder inventory, ground up, new construction, all of it. That's kind of what we specialize in. If you have questions or you need help, we always put our contact information on these videos to give you all the resources that you need, represent you in transactions to make it super helpful for you to get into a home. Now, why do I feel like renters have leverage? Well, the biggest thing right now is builders. A lot of these builders are sitting on contingencies in their neighborhoods. And so what a contingency means is it's like a domino effect, right? So it's like you have, somebody wants to buy this house, but in order to buy that house, they have to get their house sold. And in order for somebody to buy their house on the resale market, somebody else has to get their, so like you line up all of these transactions, and all of these things have to happen before the builder can ultimately get the end transaction of getting that home sold. And so some neighborhoods, they have a lot of contingencies, and can I be honest with you? The builders are kind of worried and they're kind of scared by it. We've seen the resale market here in DFW. It is not flatlined and it is not dead, but it is definitely kind of slowed a little bit, right? And so what happens when that side slows? Well, then, somebody can't buy the next house. And so it gridlocks it, right? Like kind of like traffic, just gets it all locked up right here. And so builders, on the one hand, have gotten very, very particular, very, very stringent on what they will take on. They're doing contingencies less and less right now. So if you are somebody who needs to sell your home, we are going to have a very specific game plan of how we're going to navigate that to get into a new home. And that probably means that you're not getting an inventory home unless you're selling in a market that is really incredibly hot and you can sell it for, cash in a couple days, which we had somebody do recently. And I was super surprised by. I had to eat my words on it, and I was willing to eat it because it was awesome. So from a builder's perspective, they have all of these homes that are sitting contingent, and they have all of these inventory pieces. And depending on when you're seeing this video, they are trying to close out their end of year on a positive note, right? So we're coming into the fourth quarter. And so all of these builders are looking at their books and they're saying, hey, we're off track on our goals, or we're close to meeting our goals, or maybe in some cases we've exceeded them, and let's just keep going. Let's get as many as we can. So they're looking at these opportunities to move homes. And so from a rental perspective, like if you're in a rent scenario where you're either A, your lease is coming up to an end, or B, you could find an exit strategy out of your lease, they look at that like what they would call like a clean deal, right? Like, so there's no contingencies, nothing. Like, we just have to get you financing approved to buy the deal. So that basically gives you a little bit more leverage on somebody else that necessarily has to get a home sold, because they have to figure out all the contingencies that go with that, right? So nothing to sell means that you're clean and ready to go for the buy. So assuming your credit is good, assuming you have your down payment ready to go, you have leverage in this deal to get the home that you might look for, that you might not otherwise be able to get, right? The other pro tip with this is, and I won't tell you this happens all the time, but just one of the things that we have found is helpful when our clients are like, hey, we're renting and we're, either like, and this is more so true when you have, like, let's just say you have 6 months left on your lease, right? It is helpful to know what the buyout number is on your lease, right? Like, is it 1.5 times a month's rent, or is it 2 months rent, or is it 2 months rent plus a fee? Like, and it's going to be sort of, but that is, as you're starting to shop, that is going to be a very, very helpful thing for you to know, because we could potentially negotiate some of that money to be used as a credit from a builder to help get us out of that lease, right? So from their perspective, if it was to cost them an additional $3,000 in holding cost, they get a home sold, they might take that deal so that they don't have to continue to pay holding costs on that house, right? Whatever that number is, you kind of need to know that going into it so that you have the ability to potentially use that as a negotiating tool on top of anything that the builders are already giving you, right? So shop the inventory homes. That would be the best thing. Shop the inventory homes, let them buy and potentially negotiate for money toward your lease buyout if it's necessary. Now, some of you're like, hey, my lease is up in November, December, and we just need to move something and get into something really quickly. That is very doable as well. Timeline wise, most of the time you're looking on an inventory home, which means it's completed. It's going to take us probably 30 to 45 days, give or take, to get through that full cycle of getting everything approved, getting everything good to go, getting everything inspected, and making sure that you are good to go in your home. So we could work it to where you're coming up on the end of your lease. But inventory, like homes that are on the ground, that are completed or are about to be completed, those are your best friends. And those right now, if you are somebody that I think is renting, you have the ability to make a massive play. We just had a client recently do this. They were in a rental. They knew they were wanting to look. They just weren't sure what was available. We got out there. Builder gave them a phenomenal deal. We're talking, I think on this particular home, it was in the $400,000 purchase price range. We got $15,000 listed off what they had already dropped the price on. They got a 4.99 fixed rate. They got 10,000 toward closing costs, and we actually asked them to bump it up to 15 so that we could use part of that money to buy out their lease. So they got a great deal, and as a win. And then the cool thing about that is they're buying out their lease, but they still have time to move and do all the things that they want to do, so that they're not rushed, right? Because so for example, if we close on a house in November, and this is true across the board, close on a house in November, your first payment is not going to be till January. So you're going to prepay all of the interest at closing. They're going to calculate all that in. But the first time you actually make a payment is the month following, like skip the month. So close in November, payment in January, close in October, payment in December. Like you guys are smart. You can do that math. I believe in you. So use that to your advantage. Ask them for those rate buy downs. So many builders are continuing to do this right now. I don't know how long this is going to last and how long this is going to continue to be a play. But as long as it gives them the ability to move homes, and as long as it gives them the ability to sell, and as long as we continue to see things that are a little bit crazily unaffordable, you're going to continue to see builders buy through these incentives and do these rate promos and do these closing costs. And as we push toward the end of the year, if you're looking at your calendar and you're like, hey, when's the best time to get a deal done? Honestly, anytime between like the start of Q4 and probably the first 10 days of December, right? If you're looking at a calendar, because anything past the first 10 days of December, from your job, nobody's working, right? Like they're all going to punt until the end of the year and say, oh yeah, cool, Christmas parties galore and cookies and gingerbread houses. That's everybody's job. That's not just your job. That's everybody. It's like you're not probably going to close on a house. But if we can get it in before then and the house is complete, they're going to do everything they can to get you into that house by the end of the year. So if you've been renting, everybody's like, oh, renting is bad. Renting is bad. In this case, renting is not bad. You have set yourself up for success, assuming you have done everything else you need to do, kept your credit where it needs to be, saved for your down payment, all that fun jazz. You are setting yourself up for success, and you hold a lot of cards in a negotiation right now, especially when it comes to new construction, because a lot of these builders are getting really, really scared of their contingencies. They have a lot of contingencies that they're sitting on. Not only that, but they may have a lot of things bust, which means that the person that was originally scheduled to buy it could not buy it. They got that home back. And if they're getting that home back, they were not expecting to get that home back, which means you might be able to find a really, really good deal if you know where to look and how to find them. So if you're curious on where to find these deals, we built you guys a resource. QR code right there or right there, depending on which camera they're using. I don't know. That QR code will take you to our website, and you can browse new construction homes. You can browse inventory homes. You can browse floor plans. You can browse by builders. Get off all the resale stuff and just look at the new stuff, because I think that's the best place to be. You can find that there. If you have questions or you want to talk about how to get out of your lease and get into a new home, contact information is right down below. You can reach out to us. I would love to have that conversation with you, represent you through that transaction, and get you guys into your brand new home, whether you are here in DFW or like so many of our clients, you are moving to DFW. The cool thing for me is I'm filling in my map. My goal is I want clients from all 50 states in the next 2 years. So we're working on filling in our map. So if you are one of those states that we haven't helped somebody from yet, I would love to get it filled in so that we can say we have, 49, depending on how we count that, right? Because I don't know. We'll think about it, but I want to fill in the map. And this is the first time I've actually said that out loud, but that's a goal of ours. We want to fill in the map of getting clients here from as many states as we possibly can. We even got a couple international, like out of country buyers, which has been super, super cool. So renting, let's get you into a house because the builders need to move some homes. We're finding these deals. We are making it happen. You have leverage because you don't have a contingency lined up and you've probably been setting stuff aside and you're getting yourself ready to go. So if you're on the fence, let's make it happen. If I can help you in any ways, guys, we're here, we're hanging out, we're having fun. Appreciate your time. Leave us a comment. If you have questions, if you need to learn how to buy new construction homes, or you want the best tips to negotiate with builders, it's all on our channel. Grab it down below. You can subscribe, stay up to date with everything going on. We're here to help, be a resource any way we possibly can. Appreciate you guys. See you later.